Welcome to the Living Farms podcast, where voices from around the world come together to shape the future of biodynamic agriculture.
Welcome back to our Living Farms podcast, and welcome to a new session recording. Now with a very interesting group of young farmers from different parts of the world. And we've been trying to facilitate exchange and insights on contemporary biodynamics from different geographical and climate contexts. It is an honor for me to be sharing this podcast with my friends from different parts of the world. I will let you guys introduce yourselves and describe a little bit about your farm. So, Putri, would you be so kind to start today, and welcome.
Thank you, Eduardo. Thank you for having me here. I'm Putri Mirayanti, and I'm a farmer in Bali, Indonesia. I have a small farm here. Most people in Bali are smallholder farmers, and I live with my family in my farm. It's at the foothills of Mount Batukaru in Tabanan area, and I've been living here since 2020. It's mainly a coffee farm, and we also have some medicinal plants as well. And yeah, that's about it.
What about the climate in your region? Can you describe a little bit how far are you from the equator? Would you consider yourself to be in a tropical region? And tell us a little bit about your yearly cycle.
Yeah. So Bali is like around 8 degrees south of the equator. So we are in the tropics. In terms of elevation, my farm is at around 700 to 800 meters above sea level. Yeah, so we have that kind of mountain microclimate as well.
Thank you very much. Sudarshan, would you tell us about yourself and your farm?
Namaste. Thank you, Eduardo. I'm Sudarshan Chaudhary from Nepal. I'm living in Tarai, rural area of Nepal. It's a Saptari district and Madhya province. Our farm is in the tropical area. Our climate in the summertime, we have near to more than sometimes 40 degrees. And in the winter, we have less 10 degrees. And summer, as we have after summer, in the summer, we have a rainy season, very short rainy season, 3 months. And then after in the winter, we have a very less rain, sometimes no rain in the winter time. So it's very humid, and like this we have a living. And in the farm, we are in the whole season, we can grow vegetables. In the winter season, we grow cauliflower, cabbage, potato, tomatoes, like this way. And in the farm, I have mango trees, banana, papaya, orchards like this. And same time, I have some cows, mixed farm with a chicken, goat, and vegetable farm.
This is amazing. Great. Thank you so much. You are also more or less close to the equator, aren't you? Or how far north are you, more or less?
Yeah, in Nepal, we have a diverse climate. We have old highest mountain, Mount Everest, 8,848 meters high, and as in the mid-hill area, and then thrice tropical area. So we have a diverse climate in Nepal, and a diverse vegetables, fruits we can grow. And my farm is sea level. We have a 700 meter to 800.
Okay, thank you very much. Rafael, would you share with us where you're from and what are you doing there?
Yes, I am from Chile, from South America, and I'm living in southern Chile, not completely to the south because Chile is very long from north to south. I've been from around 2018 doing some research around bees, and beekeeping. I have a couple of mentors that have led me through this path, and we have been trying to build the idea or the concept, or the practices that would mean to do biodynamic beekeeping, because that is not very defined and very known here in Chile. Like, there's very few people. We have the Biodynamic Association, which is already quite small. And within that association, we're the beekeepers. And it's just some of us, But we have developed very nice boxes for the bees that are thick and are firm and give the bees a very much dignified space where to live. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the focus of our work. And this has also effects on oneself. I think that's also the focus of our work, like the beekeeper-bee relation, and how this can lead us to healthier conditions. Yeah, regarding farms, I'm not a farmer right now, but I'm actually this year very much putting my intentions in getting into vegetable production. And I might have to move places for this because there's a farm further north, close to the main city, that, they have more experience than me. But I want to get into vegetable farming. Yes, for sure.
And how is the climate in your region? Because you're pretty far south.
Yeah, I'm at 39 degrees south. It's cold. Like right here, the climate window for vegetable production goes from November for the things that are not too sensitive to the cold, November to March, So it's 4 months. And so people have to be very knowledgeable about the last frost and the climate conditions.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask you, how are you working in your biodynamic practices? Are you doing your full biodynamic practices? Are you able to do your compost, your preparations, and do the full cycle of farming in your regions? How about you, Sudarshan? How is your work with the biodynamic preparations?
Yeah, mostly compost. We are making our own farm. We have cow and a goat and chickens, so we use all the manures, and I'm connected with the community forest, so that is also a good source for the materials. Yeah, and same times for the preparations, we are working with the circle in the Nepalese group, Biodynamic Farmers Group. We are making it together in one place of the biodynamic preparations. So we share that preparations with our farmers.
And how is it working for you in biodynamics, in interacting with your neighbors and with other farming systems around you?
First when 2012, when I'm doing my masters at Kathmandu, and sometimes I'm working with some youth movement and other NGOs. And at that time, lots of climate actions work and Millennium Development Goal. Yeah, and that time I decide how we can achieve our sustain our Mother Earth, save our Mother Earth, in a sustainable way. So I'm not a agricultural background. I'm a management background student, but I love to work in the as the manage the our environment and as a mother save to Mother Earth. And then I met Hans Mulder, who is my mentor, and Krishna Gurung, he's also. And after this, I decided to come back to farm and do farming. At that time, my father and mother is not believe. Yeah, they are doing a chemical way of farming. And then he say, then I request them, like please let's see if he's not work, then I will go back to city. Then it's really work. And now I'm happy because they are convincing others. Really, organic and biodynamic is working. Yeah, they are not believing in a organic way of farming because only chemical things is working. Yeah, so now they are convinced and they are sharing with others. That is a big achievement for me, and they are helping me about the farming and in the farm. So I'm living now farm. And now I'm started to work with when I also believed as it's really working. Then I started to share my knowledge with other farmers to create our own community. So now I'm more than 30 farmers are working with together, and we create a group in my local area. But still, lots of challenges. I'm from indigenous background, and indigenous people are believe they're as ancestors and culture and everything. So it is easy to me to share with them and work with them on biodynamic way and spiritual way.
This is outstanding. Thank you so much. This is inspiring for many people, many young people around the world to be able to go back to your land and share with your parents and your grandparents and go back to a way of farming that is not only healthier for the planet but for human beings, and you can also make a living out of this. This is so important. Rafael, how is it working with community for you? Are you interacting with different communities. I'm sure that the population density where you live is not so high, but at the same time, could you elaborate a little bit about the community? Where are you taking your honey? What's your relationship to your community?
Yes. So I'm living in a community, for example, that has a Waldorf school very close, like 2 kilometers away. And before the Waldorf school project, which has 20 years or so, it was completely rural area. Yeah. And not only because of the Waldorf, but because of the development of the urban kind of areas or the surroundings of the city. There's a lot of houses now and housing projects and so on. So it's in the middle of an agriculture context that has old practices as well. You know, people who would do primarily forest work with the forest and with wood, and a lot with animals for meat. Yeah, and so that's kind of the context. A little bit of a clash between the old rural and this new urban and Waldorf, and you know. So my role there, I'm still developing it, and I'm very much into eurythmy practice, into anthroposophical practice, trying to read and do study groups and, motivate people to get their knowledge in anthroposophy out more and more. The teachers, the therapists, the eurythmists, there's a little bit of a shyness of being shy with the anthroposophical knowledge, because it's seen as weird. And I think with the biodynamic has the same challenge to just bring this practice outside. So I think we're very young in many things in community, but at the same time, I think there's different seeds in different areas, as I say, in health, in education, in agriculture, in ecology. It's very hopeful for the future, I think. There's a lot of people with much interest, but there's something that needs to push them and push us to really get out there.
Thank you. I think it's very relevant what you say, and how in a certain way you take it on upon you to be that bridge that goes into the future, and maybe with other fellow young people you can, and farmers or in general, and anthroposophists to take this forward in the most creative and best way to really show how we have the answers of many things that we're looking for in today's challenging times.
Yeah.
Thank you. Putri, will you tell us a little bit about your community work? And I know you are also, with some of your colleagues, working very intensely with developing a calendar and trying to, let's say, work together with your ancestral knowledge and biodynamics. Can you tell us a little bit about that and your community?
Yes, sure. In terms of the biodynamic movement, I'm part of the association here in Indonesia. The movement of the association actually started in Bali island. It's actually not a very big island, but a lot of the farmers who are interested in biodynamics are from Bali. We are now just starting to spread across other islands like Java, the biggest or the most populated one. But most of our work still happen in Bali. So within the association, we gather together to make preps, to do our biodynamic work, but also, as you say, to kind of dig back up this knowledge about our ancestral culture, rituals, and calendar. Because when we talk about calendar, it's actually one of the bridge to the local people here in Bali that they are familiar with, because everybody here still uses the traditional calendar in almost every aspect of their life. So we see that as something that catches their eye, as to say, and yeah, we develop that, and we goes deep into like the meaning of certain rituals, because now not many people left here in Bali really knows the true meaning behind the rituals. And if you don't know the meaning of it, and it just becomes one of those things that you do out of necessity, or sometimes out of fear for the societal judgment. So that's what we want to work with the community, to find that renewed meaning of our culture. And really the work in biodynamics with my colleagues, of course, and also anthroposophy is a kind of a mirror, I should say, that we can reflect on something that's been done for 100 years here, and the reason behind it. So that is part of the work, but also to also spread this knowledge, this sharing this knowledge of biodynamics. I've been very involved for the past few years. And I also have my own small community here in Pupuan. We consist of 4 families, I should say. In between us, we have 4 different farms, but close by. And we always kind of gather together to do the biodynamic work, and also spreading it in a way that through our workers, they are our champions in a lot of ways, because they're the closest who work with us. And we are just showing it by doing. And it's not so much of teaching. It's having to do with gathering together and doing something together. So I'm really quite happy with the communities that I have right now, and we support each other.
Thank you. Thank you. This is very important. I think that each one of us, no matter where we come from, we are faced with different challenges and different situations. And I think it's very important to be creative and find those doors where we can communicate with people and not reject or make a boundary and saying we are different, we're better, or whatever it is, but more lending a hand and working together. So I think this is very relevant for the different settings that you are all in. I wanted to ask you if you have educational activities or training activities in your region. Maybe Sudarshan, you can give us a little bit of an image of what you are doing in this respect.
Yeah, in my farm, we are organizing training with local farmers, and sometimes other NGOs and other farmers group, they are interested, and we'll provide them training, basic trainings. And now it is a good for me, and now I created some helping hands. Without me, they can train others. So it is good for in my area. Yeah, like in the Nepal, there are some other friends also give trainings. But in my area, I'm living in a tropical area, and we have like as a climate diverse. So I have a good knowledge in the tropical vegetable farming and tropical fruits and orchards. Like this way. We are giving, and lots of farmers group, they are visiting my farm, because in Nepal I'm living in a flat land, and flat land is a fertile land, and it's now our province government is give a motto, Madhesh feed the nation. But like with chemical, yeah, there our government is it's very sad news for us. Like as lots of fund, they are like as giving subsidies for the chemical fertilizer. They are trying to open like as establish chemical fertilizer company for the they are we like as Nepal always facing challenge to import the chemical fertilizer. This is always big issue, yeah, big debate and issues, and farmers are like as a stay in the line, yeah, and for the fertilizer. So now we are like as making how we can on the create our own community through biodynamic farming. We can make our own compost and everything. So it is a good. My farm is going like as a learning place and a model farm for others too.
Thank you. Yeah, sometimes our governments try to rely on agrochemicals because they feel this is what will bring progress and will bring food sovereignty. But more and more we see that this is creating dependencies on agrochemicals, and the whole world situation right now is telling us that we need to become even independent from those sources of artificial fertilizing. So our work is becoming more relevant. And the only way I think it can become relevant is if we are, in a sense, showing how we can do things that are strong in their production, at the same time creating value in so many different areas. Rafa, would you tell us a little bit about this relationship to the Waldorf School? Are you also teaching there? You said you were creating communities of, let's say, studies, or also sharing your honey and your produce. Do you have a market at the school? What is your relationship in that sense?
Yeah, no, not yet. Not yet a market. That's what I mean. I got here just 3 years ago, but I know that people are interested in creating something. I think the most reasonable thing to do there and the clearest opportunity is a CSA, for example, because there's plots of land around the school, very available, even from parents who would like to donate the piece of land for this purpose. I live 3 kilometers away in a place that I have to rent and pay quite a rent, but we would still be open for starting a project that brings in people and produces vegetables and food for the school. But it's a complex context, with the parents of the school and the history of the school and things that have been trying to do there. So one has to be very attentive and listen what has already happened, what has been the challenges, and go in at the right time, because if not, you can actually burn yourself out from trying too hard and trying in contexts that actually don't allow. So my role has been more to kind of, we say tejer, which is create a little bit of a tissue and talk to people and invite to very small, for example, instances of biodynamics. We had the luck a couple of weeks ago to have Bruno Follador. He told me he's a good friend of yours. He came to the vineyards in Chile, and I invited him to the place we're living in to do a biodynamics workshop. And it was very small, but still, it was a very special instance, for the first time to have him in this more of, community context, because the vineyard is a very professional setting. And he came out here and we had around 10 people, not even, but even so, it was very special. And a couple of years ago, we did a year on beekeeping training, biodynamic beekeeping training, which was very intensive. We studied every 2 weeks, and we had 3 meetings with people on different farms from the Biodynamic Association. And there we were 30, 40 people, and the total community was around 50 people. And now we feel we're all friends, and we have kind of a community around this principles of beekeeping, anthroposophy, and this caring for the bee, which brings about a caring for the whole environment at the same time. So it's an ongoing thing. Yeah.
Thank you. I think in a sense, I think that the 3 of you represent not only different regions, different socioeconomical and cultural aspects of humanity, but at the same time, you represent 3 different impulses of how young people are bringing these important visions of anthroposophy and biodynamics into the world. And sometimes you are doing building groups or building blocks and weaving, like you say, Rafael. Sometimes you already have certain communities and are growing from there. But this is very important, and it's so nice for people listening to us that they can connect to you in different moments. Some people are like Rafael. They are in communities that are starting and maturing, and some others are like Putri or Sudarshan, where communities are already small but growing. I think this is very relevant and important that we all get inspired and that we know that we can do it. I think farming provides this place where we can sort out our differences, where we can just get together to work, invite parents, invite students, invite the community and say, let's do a compost together, let's work together. And this builds community, and farms are very good for that. But of course, there's also the market aspect. I have had the pleasure and I was lucky to try Putri's coffee, which is very good from her community. And I was wondering, where are you selling this, Putri? What is your market or natural market? And what are your plans for the future in this development of the coffee and all other products that you have?
Yeah. Actually, for the coffee right now, we struggle a little bit with demand. It's a good struggle. But yeah, many people are asking us once they get to know our products. But right now, with the local markets in Bali, cafes, restaurant, and we also have our local farmers market, which happen every week, every Saturday, where a few of us farmers from Biodynamic farmers from the association bring our products together. And in that market, well, which is also collaborating with the slow food movement. And in that market, we usually do cooking, and it is our traditional cooking using local ingredients. And we would invite people to cook with us and try the food with us, and then have conversations about food, about plants, about farm. So yeah, that's been our constant place right now of meeting, expanding community, hopefully. And in terms of like training, we actually come into a very interesting thing that this by end of this week on Sunday, we will have a training for open for public. And we found that people who are interested are not just farmers. The training is actually about introduction to biodynamics. And most of the people there are actually consumers or either somebody that wanting to go into farming but not yet have maybe the land or the time. And we take on this approach of informing that we open it to the public because we feel like the consumers could actually be the one who drive the farmers to introduce such a concept as biodynamics or even organics. And yeah, we would like to try this in our community actually, because Bali is also a very unique tourism place. It's where people from all over the world meet. And all the farmers that we have and we've talked to are in some way they are driven by what the market wants. That's how we can make a living actually. So now that we're meeting the markets or the consumers, hopefully something can happen with that. Yeah, it's an ongoing thing.
This is very wonderful. I think these ideas and these creative ways of connecting with potential farmers and potential communities is very important. And I think it's great. And of course, each one of us, depending on where we come from and our cultural reality, we actually have to be creative and find the way to do it. And how about you, Sudarshan? What is the way you are working with your farmers and your consumers? How is that going for you?
Yeah, thank you, Eduardo. This is very hard for us. We are living in a rural area, and still most of our consumers, they are believing we can't grow food without chemical. So still we are struggling, but we are like as a pioneer in biodynamic and organic in our area. Most of a farmer and like as a consumers, they are believe it is hard to find organic, but we are trying to our own outlet in a local market and nearby the city. It is hard for us. We are still struggling, but in the like as a big city, capital city, and Pokhara, there is a good demand. But for this, why I'm for this, I'm creating a community. Then we have a good community. Then we can regularly supply the big cities too. Like as one farmer, you never farm alone, yeah. Like so, like as a creating community, and that also give a good because when I started working with biodynamic, I did a survey with local consumer and farmers too. Most of our farmers, they now like as their land is going degraded, they are facing lots of challenges, so they are looking a new way of farming. But how to they switch, and then I started to work with them. That is good for me, and farmers are believing who are like as want to join me. So like as now I may started to create our own community, and even we are selling same price of chemical price in local like as we call hat bazaar. Every day there is a farmers market, but it's full of chemical products. Local farmers, they come with a small portion of their products in a hat bazaar. It's called hat bazaar. Every day there is today in my place, another day is another place, and it's surrounding, like as every day. So there is a hat bazaar called hat bazaar, and we selling our products in hat bazaar. Like as people who eat our product, they really love it, and they come to buy, but still struggling, and we have like as most of our consumers like as they want to cheap one and a very nice one, so they are looking always that one. So this is still we are struggling for, but I'm trying to the way nearby the city where we can open our own like as a outlet, and there we can regularly supply and give who are living in the cities, and they are really looking for that products, organic products, because now people are educated, and they are looking natural products and organic products for the conscious consumers.
Yeah, this is very interesting because we know a group of farmers in Belgium who also developed their own store in their own farm, but at the same time they work with other farms, and they have a store in the city, and so they are now working like that. And I think this is a very good model. Of course, each country has its own reality and rules, but what you're saying makes sense. The idea is to be able to build momentum and to grow into an enough of a size that you can actually do that, because it seems like if you reach the consumers who already know these types of products, mainly tourists at the beginning, you can have one area of development there. And what you are doing with the local markets is also very important, because people that are from your community will be able also to tell the difference and say, okay, why should I pay a little more for this? Well, at the end, it's for them the taste and the quality. So you're working in two streams that make it very, very interesting to do that. As we are coming to the end of our podcast, I wanted to ask you something that is very important for me, and is what would you say to encourage young people to get involved in biodynamic farming or anthroposophy or community building? Because not everybody's a farmer. Of course, there are many people who have this in their karma to become farmers, but there are also who could help you, for example, design strategies to market your products, to go into the cities, or to, for example, develop your coffee farmers to supply that demand that is rising, or working in Rafael's situation, working in a dynamic way with all of the communities, those who are struggling, who are in favor, who are against. I mean, we need to build communities, and I think there's a lot of young people out there that could benefit from knowing that what you are doing and to be encouraged by you. So what would you say to young people out there who are looking for something to contribute to the development of the world and to counteract this sometimes overwhelming reality, which seems hopeless, but you are all working in very important places and very important initiatives. And maybe, Rafa, you can share with us a little bit of your insights.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, something very strong comes in to give you an answer in it comes from this getting in touch to anthroposophy. Yeah, for me it was like a very special thing to have the chance to get into anthroposophy because and why it's because it allowed me to imagine uh, a better world, like really, and to see it and to sense it with my heart. Like I could actually, after reading some things in anthroposophy, after joining with the anthroposophical communities and the biodynamic communities, which the encounters with the biodynamic community is amazing because you eat good food, you have fun, you do farming, you know, and so it's like maybe a message would be that whatever is in your imagination and whatever feels a little bit uncomfortable in your surroundings, maybe pay attention, right? Because if you're uncomfortable, it's because you're needing something and needing to change something. And I think it's very much worth following this call, you know, and believing that these imaginations can actually happen and take place. And so yeah, that's it. And together with that, I'm reading a very interesting cycle of lectures from Steiner, which is GA 199. It's called Anthroposophy as a Foundation for Social Forms. Yeah. And it's interesting because it gives you so much ideas, perspectives, and yeah, new thoughts. So that would be my message. Thanks for the question.
That's very inspiring. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Putri, what would you tell other young people around the world?
Thank you, Eduardo. I would say keep an open mind and open heart because when you keep this openness in you, you can see in more perspective than what you used to. I mean, I agree very much with Rafael that getting into anthroposophy is one way, but I also encounter people who are confused. And that's okay. That's okay. If you hear about biodynamics one time and right now you don't understand it, it's all right. Just keep an open mind and an open heart. And I think by having this attitude, I think you will find what's right for you at the right time. I I speak this from an experience with a friend that I met during a Waldorf training. And he was actually an office worker and was confused. He's quite young and confused of this uncomfortable feeling that he's always feeling when he has to work. And he needs to break free, but he doesn't know how. And just by talking and we're sharing ideas with an open mind, he's now coming into biodynamic training and he wants to be a farmer and he found his calling. So I think, yeah, that connection and just talking to people is also important because now with so many distractions, we somehow always feel disconnected with people. Yeah, so open mind, open heart.
This is great and very inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing. And Sudarshan, what is your point of view about this sharing with young people?
Thank you, Eduardo. Yeah, we all human being is part of nature. Like as we need to be with the nature, and I agree with our colleagues, Rafael and Putri. We need to always be open-minded and open heart. And really, if we want to really to work with nature and love to love nature, we really we go through the anthroposophy. Anthroposophy way give us many ways. Yeah, like as when we do education work and like as a farming works, like as a really anthroposophy give us such a way how we can go through this way. For young people and youths, I always discuss with them how where we want to go and how like as what you are looking, what we are looking in our inner world and outer world. How we can create these things like as a very beautiful and good ways. That is like as the way for us where we want to go. Such a good way, or there is a many ways, but which way we want to go. So that's a way really anthroposophy give us that way for us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, many people out there don't know how important you are in your communities. I have the honor of knowing you all and have to some degree shared your realities, and I know how important you are in your community. So I want to thank you today for sharing with us, but also for putting the hard work out there and for becoming that which many people need in the world. You are walking the talk. You are struggling through challenges, but at the same time creating communities, building realities that are not in the world right now. So you become beacons of light and hope for the world. And I want to thank you in the name of everybody in the biodynamic movement for the amazing work that you are doing in different regions of the world and for bringing hope and light to many. Thank you so much. And I guess with this, we are now finishing our podcast, unless anybody would like to share something else. And if not, this would be it for this session. And we are thankful and honored to have you today with us.
Thank you so much, Eduardo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Great. You too.
Goodbye. Ciao, ciao.